He who has a why can bear any how. That is one of my favorite quotes from Nietzsche, and it emphasizes the power of meaning and having purpose in your life. So if a person knows why they are enduring a hardship or suffering, then they can find the strength to cope with extreme adversity. So naturally, you then ask, how do you find your why? And that's exactly what we're gonna explore in today's video. Invert, or how to find your why by complaining. Humans are naturally great at complaining. We're great at finding things to have a problem with. I want you to do something for me. Think of 10 things that you wanted to be grateful for. Now, think of 10 things that you wish were better right now. See how much easier it was to complain. And so this process of inversion uses that power of complaining and flips it into a positive thing. I learned this concept from Charles Munger. He's a multi-billionaire and philanthropist. His greatest inversion was, I wish I knew where I was going to die so I don't go there. That's pretty smart thinking. So what does this mean in practice? Looking for a solution isn't always obvious. So when faced with an obstacle, ask yourself, what can I do to ensure that I do not overcome this challenge? Let's say your goal is to become more fit and eventually get a six-pack. So to ensure this never happens, you can skip workouts consistently, maintain an unhealthy diet, and never prioritize your sleep. Doing these things will ensure that you never get fit the way you want to be. Now, let's do the same exercise with your life. To find your life purpose, ask yourself, what can I do to ensure that I will never find my life purpose? From my own personal responses, I came up with staying in my comfort zone, ignoring introspection, settling for mediocrity, ignoring my curiosities. Because answers like these block progress and fulfillment. So theoretically, to find my life's purpose, I just need to do the list's opposite, which leads me to point number 2. The list I've made above has helped me build a practical framework for developing my purpose, finding meaning, if you will. And in my search for meaning, I found philosophy. It was through reading the great works of philosophers like Aristotle, Nietzsche, Dostoevsky that has helped me develop the following rules for my life. The first principle was to seek out challenges. In another Nietzsche quote, I know of no greater life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and impossible. If you're content with your life and happy with the meaning you've ascribed to it, then I'm not really sure why you're watching this video. But if you aren't, and you feel like you're meant for something more, then it is your duty and responsibility to seek out challenges, in whatever shape or form that may be. I've also committed to finding meaning in suffering. Dostoevsky once wrote, there is only one thing that I dread, not to be worthy of my sufferings. Because growth requires placing yourself in uncomfortable situations. New situations push us outside our comfort zones and in effect require us to develop new skills and learn resilience. And finally, I vowed to craft my own identity. It was Nietzsche who introduced to us the concept of the Übermensch, or Superman, the Overman. This ideology suggests that humans should strive to become psychologically superior by shredding dogma and employing self-determined values. The Übermensch is supposed to be someone independent, lacking the need to ask everyone else for what is right and wrong, because they have the capability to determine that for themselves. Nietzsche likens crafting one's own identity to returning to a childlike state, where one does not do things because of tradition, but rather because one has come to accept rules and values based on one's own experience. For what is ape to man, that is man to the Übermensch, he writes. And so I've turned to philosophy because for the longest time, they've looked to answer the question, what is the meaning of life? And to be honest with you, no one has come up with a good enough answer. All these different ideologies, stoicism, nihilism, existentialism, hedonism, these are all examples of different ways that people have chosen to live their lives. And that while there's no straightforward means to living life, the concepts I've outlined above have helped me guide my own. And I hope they help you too.